friends, it's Lisa and welcome to a new vlog. So I have decided to do a bit of a reading vlog this week because I kind of feel like right now am not reading unless it's for a vlog. I participated in the Magical Readathon last month. I did weekly reading vlogs for that, and as soon as all of that stopped, I just stopped reading. It is the 9th of May. I have not finished a book yet this month, which that doesn't really stress me out. Like, I don't really care. My thing is, like, I'm not going to force myself to read if I don't want to. So, like, it's been fine that I haven't been reading, but I do want to read more this week and kind of find that motivation to read. So I thought vlogging might help. I do also have a few books that I'm reading through my library that I need to finish before my holds run out. So that was another reason why I thought maybe vlogging might help motivate me to read and finish the books I need to before I have to return them. So for this week, I have a few reading plans. I've started reading Dialé for Aunt. Nope, I keep calling it Dialé for Aunties, and it's not. It's For Aunties and a Wedding. It's the sequel to Dialé for Aunties. I think in my vlog, like when I started this book, I called it Dialé for Aunties at one point. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with saying the correct title, but I started For Aunties and a Wedding by Jessie Tanto a few days ago, and I think I've only read the first part. It's not a very long book, so I should be able to read it over the next couple of days if I actually find that motivation to read again. But I have started that, and so far I'm already really enjoying it. I did love Dialé for Aunties, which is the first book, so much, so I'm really excited to continue on with this one and would love to finish it over the next couple of days. And like I said, I'm like probably like a third maybe of the way through the book. Okay, my camera died and cut me off, so not quite sure exactly what I was saying, but For Aunties and a Wedding, definitely going to be my priority for the start of this week, and hopefully we'll be reading that, finishing that up over the next couple of days. And then I've also been listening to the audiobook for House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. I'm reading this for a particular reading vlog, so I'm not going to talk about my thoughts in this vlog, but I thought it might be nice to have this as kind of motivation to read it as well. The vlog that I'm reading it for is definitely motivation, but I also have not been listening to audiobooks either. Like, it's not a very long audiobook, and I think I started it like a week ago now, and I'm still only a few hours in, so I would love to kind of prioritize that and get that done this week as well. And then my hold on From Blood and Ash came in a few days ago, and I finally clicked the borrow button last night because I tried to leave it off as much as possible so that I can have it for longer because I was not ready to start it. I'm still not, but I didn't want my hold to start over again. I didn't want to have to wait for it to come back in, so I took it. So now I have it for 2 weeks. So I would like to start that at least this week and work towards getting that done. And I'm going to be reading that for the Whiners book club. Okay, apparently none of my batteries are charged, so I'm going to make this quick. Reading From Blood and Ash. I want to start that this week because I have it for 2 weeks and I want to read it and get it done before my hold runs out. I'm reading it for the Whiners book club. Very excited to hear what they all think. I think it's going to be a lot of mixed opinions, and I feel like I've been going back and forth on if I want to read that book or not, and I feel like the only way I'm gonna actually pick it up and read it is if I read it for a book club where I could discuss it with friends. So that's my plan. That's my TBR for the week. It's also gonna be super nice out this week, weather-wise, so definitely want to get outside, want to do some reading outside at some point this week. And yeah, that's my plan. That's my TBR. Okay, gonna go charge my camera batteries now.
Summer rain on a window. Watch the time float on. Cool air blows a memento as I fall behind. I'm so sorry for dreaming about the future. Maybe I'll be better when we're old enough. Hey, I'm sorry for dreaming about the future. You and I'll be better take apart all the good things, stripped away what's there to do. So many times I tried, but I just don't remember. I'm so sorry for dreaming about the future. Maybe I'll be better when we're old enough. Hey, I'm sorry for dreaming about the future. Hey, I'm sorry. Do you think we're old enough?
Well, hello. Oh, I'm still wearing my sunglasses. I guess I could take those off. Hello. I just came back inside from sitting outside and reading for like a couple hours. It was so nice. I had my smoothie and was just like listening to the birds chirping, and it's just like such nice weather out. It's not too hot, but it's nice enough to like sit outside for a while. It was just the best. I've been waiting like all year for this type of weather. So yeah, that was really great. I think it's supposed to be really nice out the whole rest of the week as well. So I have a feeling I'm going to be trying to get outside as much as possible this week. And yeah, it was so great. But I did want to come in and chat with you all because I do have some updates. So I did finish reading Four Aunties and a Wedding, which I always want to say Diary for Aunties, and it's not that one, it's the sequel. But I finished reading Four Aunties and a Wedding by Jessie Q. Sutanto last night, and I ended up giving it 4 stars. I did like it a lot. I think a lot of the things I loved from the first one, just how fun and funny and just how like endearing all the characters are and just how like chaotic it is. Everything I loved like that from the first one happened in the second one as well. So it was really, really fun to read. Oh, I have a cat. I didn't even realize he was in here. Hello, sir. So yeah, I did enjoy it. I do think I prefer just like the premise of the first one a little bit more. The first one, we're dealing with the characters trying to dispose of a dead body during a wedding that they're working. And then this one, during the main character's wedding, they're trying to save someone from being killed by the mafia who have like infiltrated their wedding. So I do feel like I preferred the premise of the first one more than the second one. And I also think part of why I loved Diary for Auntie so much was because I had no idea what to expect from that book. Just how chaotic it was in like the best way and like most fun way possible. I absolutely loved how chaotic it was, but it was so surprising and I just did not expect the tone to be what it was. Like it was just so fun and so surprising. And I think going into the sequel, I obviously knew kind of how it was going to go, what the tone was going to be, and kind of what to expect. And I think knowing what to expect took a bit away from the experience reading this book, if that makes sense. So yeah, I still really did enjoy it. I thought it was really fun, but I definitely didn't like it as much as the first one. I think I gave the first one 4.5 stars, and to be honest, I feel like at this point I should raise my rating to a 5-star because I talk about that book all the time, and it was just like one of the best reading experiences that I've had, like reading a book, because it was just so funny and I just was so surprised. But I did give Four Aunties and a Wedding 4 stars, and I still really enjoyed it. I think if you liked the first one, you'll probably like the sequel as well. A lot of those things that make the first book so great are still in this sequel, so I definitely would recommend. Very happy I finished it. So as for my reading plans going forward the rest of the week, as you may have seen while I was sitting outside, I did start a book. I should probably grab it. So yeah, this afternoon I did start to read Pachinko by Min-Jin Lee, and it's kind of funny because if you watched like any of my vlogs from the past month, I kept talking about how me, Darian, and Casey were gonna buddy read this and how I was ready to buddy read it literally at any point. They just weren't ready, so we weren't doing it yet. And now that I'm like overwhelmed with all of my library holds coming in and all of the other like book club and like reading vlogs and all of the books I want to read for certain things are happening now, Casey and Darian are finally like, yeah, let's do the Pachinko buddy read. It's just classic me, like the luck that I have. Obviously they weren't like, you have to read it right now. They did give me the opportunity to be like, if you're not ready to read it, we don't have to. But I wasn't going to be the problem. I was waiting for like a month to read this. I wasn't going to be the one that now that they're both ready, be like, actually no. So we are finally doing the Pachinko buddy read, and I'm really excited. Even though I kind of was just laughing at like the luck of it and just like the timing of it, I am really excited. I only read 24 pages while I was outside. I did like kind of get distracted while I was reading and just like, looking around and just enjoying being outside. But I did do some reading. Like I said, I read the first 3 chapters. So not super far, but so far I'm definitely intrigued, and I think I just love a good like multi-generational story. That's really all I know about this book, so I'm really excited to see how that plays out. So yeah, this has been added to the TBR for this week and this month, and I did put a little pile of books that I own physically on my bedside table of just like the books I want to try and get to this month, or the books that I need to get to this month for read-alongs or whatever it may be. So I kind of have that pile to look at throughout the month, and I'm also still reading House of Hollow, the audiobook for that, and hopefully we'll be finishing that soon. And I also am, I think, still going to start From Blood and Ash soon. I'm going to be reading it along with this. I'm reading a variety of different things right now, a variety of books. What a collection of things that I'm reading right now. But I do think I'm going to start that just because it is a chunky book. I think my hold's going to run out in like 11 days, and I'm not sure, with reading multiple different things, how long it's going to take me to read. So I do think I'm going to start that as well. So yeah, I'm very excited that I finally finished a book this month, but I've now added another book to the TBR, and I'm still reading a million things, but it's going to be fine. It's fine. I'll get it all read. It'll be great. Apologies if it's a little dark. Maybe it's fine. I don't know. It's very, very warm outside. It went from like one extreme to the other, and that's just New England in a nutshell. But it's actually like 76 degrees in here, not outside. I actually don't know what the temperature is outside, but 76 degrees inside where there's no like breeze or anything. It's kind of warm. I think I'm probably gonna move downstairs where it's a bit cooler. Oh yeah, it's 80 degrees out right now, and it's gonna keep going up. So yeah, that's a little toasty. So I have to keep my blinds closed, which is why it's a little dark in this clip. I don't want the sun beating in here because then it'll just make it even warmer in here, which we don't want. But hello friends, happy Friday. I've had a very exciting morning this morning because I bought concert tickets to see New Hope Club this July, and I'm so excited. I saw them in 2018, I think, and that was really exciting. That's the first and only time I've ever seen them because pre-pandemic, pre-Panini, they really only toured in the UK. They didn't really come to the US very much, so they toured with the Vamps, which was just like such a great tour for me because I also love the Vamps, and I saw them then, and then I haven't seen them since for them not touring and also a Panini. It's understandable, but they're doing a tour this summer and they're coming here, and I'm going, and I'm very excited. I also like forgot how stressful it is to buy concert tickets like at the time that they're going on sale. It was a very like stress-free experience. Like I got in, got my tickets, and got out within like 2 minutes, so it wasn't that big of a deal, but I just forgot how stressful buying tickets can be. And also, the concert tickets themselves were not that expensive. They were like $24, and that was with fees. So I forgot how nice it is to go to concerts for artists that aren't as popular because you don't have to pay like over $100 to get tickets. So yeah, overall, it's just a very exciting thing, a very exciting time, and I can't wait to see them, so I had to share. But also, I do have some reading updates that might be something you might be interested in hearing about. So I did finish House of Hollow yesterday. I'm not going to say anything about it. I just wanted to document that I finished it, which was one of my goals for this week, but I did finish that, so that's very exciting. And I've also been doing some reading with Pachinko. I'm on page 60, which is chapter 8. So I'm not super far, but it is a bit of a denser book. And also the font itself is pretty small, so it is taking me a little bit longer to read. And I've also only really been reading the past couple of days when I've been sitting outside, where I get kind of distracted by nature and my neighbors and things going on. So I haven't done the most reading, but so far I am liking it. It's definitely a like emotional and kind of sad. Like, it's not a very happy read, so to say I'm enjoying it is a little weird to say, I feel like, but I think it's very well written. I was very intrigued from the very beginning, so I'm interested to see where everything goes with this. And I still haven't started From Blood and Ash, but I think I might start that today. I feel like I want to have a lighter read as well to like balance out pachinko when I want to read something, but I don't want to read something so sad. So I think I'm going to start From Blood and Ash tonight maybe, or at some point today. But I do have a video that I want to edit. I filmed it yesterday, so I want to start editing that. And I think I'm going to move downstairs where it's a bit cooler. It's quite warm up here. So yeah, I'm going to do some editing and just some other not so exciting things. But then I will probably read later on today. And I plan on starting From Blood and Ash because I do really want to read it. Like, I'm so intrigued by that book and if I'm going to like it or not. Because I feel like I could go either way. I could be really into it or I could hate it. We will see.
Nothing like your smile in the morning, following the linings on your cheeks. 'Cause baby, in your absence life is boring, so I'll never leave. It's easier to love when it's you by my side, shining through the cracks like the first morning light, feeling like a child through the days and the nights, living in your arms as years go by. It's easier to love, oh, oh, easier to love, oh, oh.
Okay, before I close off this vlog, I did want to chat a bit about what I read over the past few days. I don't know the last time I checked in. It might have been on Friday, but it's been the whole weekend and I have done some reading, kind of. So I am currently reading two books that are very different. I'm still reading Pachinko, which I think I have talked about a little bit, and I've also started From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. So very different books happening right now, and it's kind of good actually to kind of bounce in between them because this one is a little bit more serious, a bit more dense, not in a hard to understand way. It's just like the subject matter is just a bit more like difficult to read, I guess, and From Blood and Ash is just something else. So it's very easy to just kind of bounce in between them if I feel like reading one type of book in particular. But with Pachinko, I am on page 105, so I'm now officially past the 100 page mark. It's taken me a little while to get there, but we're there. And I've also reached the point where I'm kind of past the synopsis of the book because the synopsis is basically the first 100 pages, and now I have no idea where the rest of the story is going to go. So I am definitely intrigued to see what kind of happens because Darian is like flying through this book. She's like already halfway or over halfway through this book, and she says that it gets wild. So I'm excited to see what happens. The buddy read itself is not going well because Darian is so much farther ahead of me, and also Casey DNF'd it, so we were not super successful with our buddy reading experience, but we'll just have to try again with something else. But me and Darian are still planning on reading it, planning on finishing it. I know Darian is like really loving it, so I'm excited to keep going to see if I feel the same. I'm definitely liking it. I'm not like obsessed with it yet, but I am liking it, and I'm definitely intrigued to see like what has happened so far, how that affects these characters and like the future generations, because that is like the whole premise of this book. So excited and intrigued to keep going. And then with From Blood and Ash, we are completely switching gears. I am 22% of the way through the ebook, and like I said, it's been nice to kind of have that as something a little bit easier to read when I feel like reading, but I don't necessarily feel like reading something that's going to take a lot of my attention. And I'm debating on how much I want to say about my thoughts on From Blood and Ash because I think I'm going to do a reading vlog that includes that book, but I will give a little bit of a teaser for my thoughts and feels because who knows if I end up doing that vlog or not. I feel like this is the type of book where I could go either way. I could see myself being obsessed with it, but I also could see myself hating it. And I know I'm still at the beginning, and I also have heard that the second half of the book gets a lot better, but so far I'm not loving it. I think my biggest thing is just like the writing style is just not vibing with me. It's not meshing with me. I'm not necessarily loving the writing. So we'll see. Like I said, a lot of people seem to say that this book gets a lot better as you get into like the second half. So I am excited to see if I end up liking it. But like I said, it could go either way. But as of right now, I'm not loving it, but I'm trying to keep an open mind. But yeah, those are my current reads, and I'm really happy with what I managed to get read this week, because even though I still have only finished 2 books in May and it's the 16th of May, I mean, like, it doesn't really matter, because it's like, if I don't feel like reading, I'm not gonna force myself to read, because like, it's not that serious. But I also am happy that I'm kind of back into reading and wanting to read. I'm kind of overwhelmed with all the things that I want to read. Like, I still have holds coming in through my library, and I'm like, okay, why did I place so many holds? I swear holds from Libby come in at the worst possible time. Always. They never come in at a time when I'm ready for them. And I still have a few books I want to read this month, and like things I have to read, like the Shadowhunters read-along book for this month. So we'll see what I manage to read this month. I have like half the month left, so maybe I'll just really get in the reading zone the rest of the month, but we'll see. But I'm so happy with what I read. I did get everything done and like started that I wanted to. I finished Four Aunties and a Wedding and House of Hollow, which I wanted to finish this week, and started both Pachinko and From Blood and Ash, which also was what I wanted. So I'm pretty happy with what I managed to read, and there's the squeaky chair. But I think I'm now going to wrap up this vlog. Let me know down below what you're currently reading, because I'm very curious, and also I want to know if you're currently reading as many things as I am and overwhelmed by your TBR for the month like I am. I need to feel less alone. But that's going to be it for this vlog. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.